Have you ever noticed how quiet the house feels when you're the only one in it? Not the peaceful kind of quiet that lets you breathe and stretch, but the kind that lingers too long, like the space is waiting for a voice, a laugh, or even just a bit of movement to stir the air. Maybe it hits you in the morning when you make your coffee. Maybe in the evening when you sit down to dinner and hear the sound of your own plate meeting the table. Living alone in older age is a reality for millions, and while it comes with freedom, it can also carry a heavy kind of stillness. And let's be honest, people love to tell you how lucky you are. You get to do whatever you want, sleep in, watch your shows. But what they don't talk about is the subtle ache that comes from not having someone to say good morning to, or good night, or just, did you see the rain today? Some days are perfectly fine, others not so much. But what if I told you there's one simple daily habit that can gently shift that loneliness? Not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by giving it a soft place to land. A daily anchor. A rhythm that gives shape to your days and meaning to your space, no matter who else is or isn't around. In today's video, we're talking about just that. Not a list of tips, not a lecture about keeping busy, but one powerful thing you can do every day to feel more grounded, more connected, and more at peace with your life, exactly as it is right now. Something that doesn't require money, travel, or even another person in the room. Just you and a little intention. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is where we talk about the things that truly matter after 60. The real stuff. From health to purpose to emotional strength, we dive into what helps you not just live longer, but live well. If that's something you want more of, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on the little bell, so you never miss a video that might change your day or your life. Your support means more than you know. And when you like or share what we talk about here, it helps us reach other folks who might be sitting in that same quiet room, wondering if anyone else understands. You make that connection possible. All right, let's breathe into the heart of today's message. The one thing I'm talking about is this: a daily check-in with yourself, done out loud. Yes, out loud. I know it might feel silly at first, but hear me out. Just like we greet other people, to acknowledge they matter, you need to greet yourself. Every single day, you deserve that. So each morning, or whenever feels natural, take a moment to say something simple like, "Good morning, I'm here, I matter. And today I will show up for myself." You can whisper it. You can say it while brushing your hair or sipping tea. But say it like you mean it. The voice you hear most often is your own, so let it be kind. Let it be steady. Let it remind you that you're not invisible in your own life. This small daily ritual does something powerful over time. It roots you in the present, brings warmth to your day before anything else has the chance to shape it. It gives you presence in your own story. And the most beautiful part? You don't have to wait for someone to show up to be seen. You already have everything you need. To begin, just one sentence, one breath, one steady voice inside the silence. Let's keep going, because from that one habit, so much more can grow. There's something beautifully honest about waking up alone in a quiet house. The way the morning light lands on the same familiar corner of the kitchen. The way you know exactly where every dish is. And that if something's out of place, you're the only one who moved it. That sense of control is comforting, but it can also make the silence feel louder than it needs to be. That's why the habit of speaking to yourself, kindly, intentionally, matters more than most people realize. Because when you live alone, the way you speak to yourself becomes the dominant voice in your life. And if that voice is full of pressure, worry, or emptiness, the days follow that tone. But if it's compassionate, encouraging, and rooted in care, you shape an entirely different day. Now, I'm not talking about pretending everything is fine when it isn't. I'm talking about honesty with warmth. Starting your day by saying, "I'm proud of how far I've come," or "Today I will move gently and that's enough," is not just fluff. It sets your emotional baseline. It gives your mind and your heart a stable place to stand before the world starts pulling you in different directions. This kind of check-in doesn't need to be long. In fact, the shorter and more sincere it is, the better. It's about creating a consistent internal rhythm, like lighting a small candle instead of flipping on every light in the house. Just a touch of glow. That's enough to shift the shadows. And as you build this daily habit, something surprising begins to happen. You feel more connected, even in the quiet. Because the truth is, loneliness isn't just about the absence of people. It's often about the absence of attention, especially your own attention to yourself. So the next step I want to invite you into is adding one short phrase at the end of your morning check-in. What do I need today? Then pause. Listen. Maybe you need a walk, a nap, a call with someone who makes you laugh. Maybe you need to sit by the window and just watch the wind in the trees for 10 peaceful minutes. Whatever your answer is, trust it. Let it guide you. This simple act, asking yourself what you need, rebuilds your relationship with your own well-being. It tells your body and your spirit that someone's paying attention, and that someone is you. So the habit, the one daily thing that matters, isn't just talking to yourself, it's listening too. It's giving yourself the kind of support you'd offer a dear friend. Because, let's face it, you've probably spent your life taking care of everyone else. You've shown up for family, for work, for communities. And now, in this chapter, it's your turn to receive from you. To you. Let's take a breath together, right here, right now. Inhale and exhale. There's peace in that pause. There's power in that stillness. And as we keep going, I want to build on that. Because what we're doing together isn't about filling time. It's about filling life with meaning, comfort, and quiet confidence. So let's go a little deeper. You know, people often think that living alone automatically means being lonely. But solitude and loneliness, they're not the same thing. Solitude can be a sanctuary, a place where your time belongs only to you, your thoughts move freely, and your pace slows to something more natural. But for solitude to feel peaceful and not empty, it needs something else woven into it. Purpose. And purpose doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't need a spotlight or applause. Sometimes the most powerful purpose is the one that lives inside your daily routine, like watering your houseplants, preparing a meal you actually enjoy just for you, folding a blanket with care because it makes the room feel calm. These little rituals, when done mindfully, become anchors. But here's what can shift everything, turning even the simplest action into an offering of care. Not obligation, not autopilot, but something that says, I matter. My space matters. My experience matters. Imagine making your cup of tea in the morning not just to hydrate, but to mark the start of a day that belongs to you. Imagine brushing your hair slowly while looking in the mirror and saying, this is still me, and I'm still here. These tiny moments, done with intention, are what turn solitude into sanctuary. Now let's be honest. Some days won't feel warm or peaceful. There are going to be mornings when the silence presses a little too hard, when the ache of missing someone shows up before your feet even hit the floor. That's real. That's part of it. And on those days, it helps to have something to reach for, a daily connection to something bigger than your thoughts. For some, it's prayer. For others, it's nature. A walk, even if it's just to the mailbox and back, where you let the sun hit your skin and remember that life is still moving around you. For many, it's music, a favorite song that reminds you of who you are, who you were, and who you're still becoming. Whatever it is, it doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be consistent, a thread you weave into every day that brings color, texture, and comfort into the quiet. Because when you live alone, you're the one shaping the atmosphere, and you have more power than you think. You get to choose the soundtrack, the pace, the focus. You get to build peace into your life, one small decision at a time. And that's where real joy lives. Not in filling every hour with noise or tasks, but in giving each hour a bit of heart, a bit of soul, a bit of you. Let that be your rhythm. Let's talk about connection. Not the kind that requires a packed calendar or a loud room, but the kind that truly fills you up. Because here's the truth most people won't say out loud. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. And you can live by yourself and still feel deeply connected to others and to life. The difference? It's not the number of voices around you. It's the quality of the exchange, the intention behind the interaction. Even one thoughtful conversation a week, even one real check-in, can carry you through days with more lightness. But that only happens when you make space for it. And that's why this daily habit we're building matters so much. It puts you back in the driver's seat. It reminds you that you don't have to wait for someone else to reach out. You can reach, you can offer, you can begin. Start simple. Call someone, not just to say hi, but to ask something meaningful. Like, what's been lifting your spirits lately? Or what made you smile today? Ask them for a recipe, tell them about something that reminded you of them. You'd be amazed how even a tiny gesture like that can ripple out. And don't forget about written connection. A short note, a letter, even a silly postcard. It takes 5 minutes, but the impact lasts. It gives the day shape. It gives your mind something to wrap around beyond your own four walls. It brings your energy outward, even as you stay grounded, right where you are. But here's something even more overlooked. Connecting with people you don't know well. The person who bags your groceries. The neighbor who walks their dog past your window. The barista you see every Thursday when you treat yourself to that cappuccino. Even a smile, even a kind comment, even a moment of eye contact can restore. A bit of that quiet magic between human beings. You don't need to perform. You don't need to pretend you're in a different season of life than you are. You just need to be present. That's it. Because connection isn't about age or living situation or energy level. It's about sharing a small, honest moment. And when you live alone, those moments can still be rich if you give yourself permission to pursue them. And I want to say this clearly. If you've been feeling like your life has gotten too quiet lately, too routine, too empty, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. It means you're in transition. And that's a beautiful time to rebuild. Gently, intentionally. With one small act a day, you start to shape your life from the inside out. You turn the echo of your own thoughts into something steadier, more meaningful. You craft a daily rhythm that nurtures you, not just fills the clock. Here's the part we often overlook. Peace isn't something you find lying around. It's not sitting on a shelf, waiting for the right day to arrive. It's something you make, bit by bit, with the choices you make when nobody's watching, and especially when nobody's calling. If you've made it this far into the video, it means something inside you wants more. Not more things or noise, but more steadiness, more calm, more purpose in the quiet. So let me offer this. Start your day with intention, not just routine. That's the one thing, truly. Not just waking up and falling into the usual motions, but waking up and asking, what would bring me peace today? What would feel like care, even if it's small? It could be writing in a journal before you even get out of bed. It could be sitting on the edge of the bed, placing a hand over your heart, and simply breathing for 30 seconds. It could be stepping outside, even just to feel the weather on your face, and whispering something kind to yourself. Something simple like, you're doing all right. You'd be amazed how different the day feels when it begins that way. When it's not about solving problems or rushing through chores, but about tuning in and setting the tone from the inside. And that tone ripples through everything else. Your meals taste better. Your walks feel lighter. The silence becomes less heavy. Because you're not just filling time. You're filling it with presence, with self-respect, with the quiet belief that your life still matters deeply, even if no one is texting you back right now. Peace grows when we give it somewhere to live, when we protect it from being swallowed by noise or numbness, and especially when we choose not to abandon ourselves just because the house feels empty. So, whether you live alone by choice or by circumstance, you are not less whole. You are not less worthy. You are not forgotten. And each day you have this gentle power to create something beautiful and grounding from your own breath, your own intention, your own voice. Maybe today it's just a walk. Maybe tomorrow it's lighting a candle while you eat. Maybe next week, you write a letter to your younger self, or your future self. Or maybe you just sit for 5 minutes with a cup of tea and say, "This is enough." Because it is, you're enough. This moment is enough. And your ability to create meaning in it, that's your superpower. Don't underestimate it. So here's to peaceful mornings, thoughtful days, and evenings that feel like soft landings. Here's to living alone without ever feeling empty. Here's to filling your space with things that remind you who you are, and rituals that remind you that you're still growing. And here's to showing up each day with just a little more kindness for the world and for yourself. You've got this.